Hi, my name is Sheila and I am a North Carolina licensed attorney. Every once in a while, someone will reach out to me and say, Sheila, what about those online legal services that provide forms and maybe chat bots and maybe people I can call into and talk to? Is it worth it? Are they any good? Am I getting what I pay for at least? So there are advantages and disadvantages to using some of the websites that you find online. Some of those which have call-in numbers with people who can help you, and some of which provide forms that you can download. So let me talk about those just a little bit. Sometimes you don't have the money, sometimes you don't have the time. For instance, it might be midnight and you've got to have some form by the next morning. And sometimes you can't find someone who practices in your area of expertise. A lot of times we hear, hey, there's so many attorneys out there. There are way too many attorneys out there. But in some places, guess what? There are not that many attorneys. And maybe even if there are a few, they might not practice in the area that you need assistance with. That's when a lot of people go to the internet to find some legal assistance. Well, here are some advantages and disadvantages about doing that. First of all, well, you get what you pay for, and sometimes you don't know what you're paying for, right? If you have a background in law or you know people who can review something for you, then downloading something from the internet and using it as a place to start might work for you. Another advantage is, you don't have to sit around and wait on the availability of an attorney. You've got your computer and the internet right there, and so you can access it at any time. And then third, usually it's a little bit cheaper than an attorney. And so if you're watching your budget, this might be a good place for you to go to. Now let's talk about some of the disadvantages. Well, you don't necessarily know that the person who produced that document or the person that you're talking to on the other end of the phone is any good. But hey, that's sort of like real life, right? You figure it out after you've met the person and you go, that was a bad experience. I'm actually going to give them 1 star. Another disadvantage is, hey, so after I download this form, well, who do I talk to about it? I've got a form. I don't know what half of this stuff means on it. Is it even going to work for me? Does it apply to my state? Sometimes you actually need that follow-up assistance that might not be available if you're just using a website where you can download legal forms. And then finally, who's going to help you? It's just you, right? And so you're having to use your time, your energy, and maybe even, you're putting in more research into pulling this together. And so, yeah, there's some advantages and disadvantages to it. So what do I think? Here's what I tell my clients. I think doing a Google search and going to some of these sites can be a good way to sort of increase your background knowledge around some of the issues that you may be dealing with. And so you get ready to go in to meet your attorney and it turns out you don't know anything about what the attorney's talking about. These are all new terms you've never heard of and you just have no clue. And there you've paid all of that money to meet with someone. You think you have an idea, but you're just not sure. Why not go ahead, Google that beforehand, look at some forms beforehand, try to become a little bit more familiar so that maybe when you go to that meeting, you have an increased level of knowledge and you're able to get more out of that meeting. The other thing I tell people is, hey, sometimes a little bit of something is better than nothing. If you're in need of a contract, there may be something online that can help you sort of at least get a little bit of something in writing and on paper. And maybe what you can do later is to check back in with an attorney to see, hey, I had to do this. I was in a rush. It was really late. We couldn't find anybody and we really needed to put something together. I didn't want to go forward with not having anything. And so, hey, it's a way to sort of put something together and then come back around to an attorney in the future. Those are my thoughts on working with online services like Rocket Lawyer and Law Depot that may have forms that you can download, and even Just Answer where you can talk to attorneys. I've actually provided answers on Just Answer before. Figure out what works best for you. I'm not going to be a big naysayer and say don't ever use these. That's not necessarily the case. There may be a place for these items, for these resources in your life and what you're doing. It just depends on what your needs are. If you need to schedule an appointment with me, take a look down in the description. I've got information there. I've also got information about some of the courses that I offer. They're available to you 24/7 through Udemy. Hope this video was helpful. If you need other videos, information that you'd like to know more about, put that in the comments so that I can make a quick video for it, on it for you.